Hey there, I'm just making a quick video to show how I might start making a suit of armor and what kind of techniques I'd use. I'm going to make a cylinder, press Alt-G to get into the center. And I'm just deleting everything on this side of it and adding a mirror modifier down here. Add mirror, turn on clipping. So now I just have this hollow ring of vertices. The other thing that's going to be useful for getting this hollow suit of armor is this solidify modifier. So I just went ahead and added that. And this is the thickness slider down here. So you can see I can put it in the negative to pull this out from the surface, or in the positive to go in. So I'm just going to do like something like 0.2 for the thickness for now. That means that if I edit these outside vertices, the inside ones will also be edited, or will be changed around for that. So now let's get that chest piece set up. So first of all, I'm selecting all of these and scaling just along the, I guess that's the Y axis, just holding down my mouse button on this green arrow, pressing S for scale, and getting that to be more of a chest shape. So now this breastplate kind of curves around like this. So I'm going to try to duplicate that here. I'm pressing Control R to make that loop cut. And I'm just using the scroll wheel on my mouse to make like 3 loop cuts here. So now I'm turning on proportional editing mode. I'm just clicking right down here and selecting connected. And now I can select just this middle loop here, Alt right click. And since I have proportional editing turned on, when I pull this around, the rest of it moves too. And I can move my mouse wheel in or scroll out to determine just how much of this I'm moving with proportional editing mode. So I just grab this around and try to get that chest curve in there. And this could also work with more vertices in there as well. So, if I want to just select this one, I move this circle in with the mouse wheel. And I can just pull this around to get that nice barrel shape on the chest. So now, suppose I want these little flaps along the legs. Maybe what I'm going to do is turn off proportional editing mode down here, just select disable. And then I'm going to do an extrusion to pull these out. So maybe select all of these, press E to extrude, and just pull these down for this little area in here. Pull this out a little. And that's a bit curved, so like I can make a loop cut and just pull that out for now. Um, and now we're going to want these flaps along the legs. And, maybe I want this nice seam right here too. So I can make this a separate object, or I could do something like loop cut and slide here. Again, Control R here for a loop cut and slide. And then I could just select this middle loop with the Alt right mouse button and just press S to scale that in, and that gives us that nice crease along here. And this is curved up a bit, so I could select all of these loops and just tilt these up a little. So now I want these flaps along the legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select like most of these, but maybe not this middle vertex or this vertex. And then I'm just pressing E for extrude to pull these out about how I want them. And then we're going to want these curved. So again, proportional editing is great for that. Just turn it on to connected. And then I can grab here and just move out this circle as much as I want it to pull these down a bit. And now I have those nice leg flaps on here. And maybe get a little more curve on here so I can control R to make more loop cuts. Scroll the mouse wheel to decide how many I want, just get these even. And then maybe I just select right onto this edge loop here, Alt right click. And with proportional editing mode on, I use my mouse wheel to select how big this circle is and just pull this out. And right now I'm using the, I think this is the smooth fall off, but there's also some other options in here. So maybe I want to select this and pull it out, pull this out, and sometimes turn off proportional editing mode just to get that nice curve in there. So, then, of course, all this stuff needs to be messed with quite a bit. So, maybe this barrel's a little too big, so just grab this in, pull all of this, and, just keep messing with it. So then I'd probably, make other objects for these other parts. Like, oh, let's just go ahead and see what these legs look like. So I'd probably make it. Unfortunately, we don't get a great view of these legs, but, I'd probably keep using the same technique, like make a, let's go into object mode, and do it, just drag this up. So, like, make a cylinder, press Alt-G to get down to the center, and set up the same way. Delete the top and bottom, and, since this is off to the side, I probably won't put a mirror modifier on that, but the solidify will still be really nice. So I'm just putting the thickness about where it was on the other one. Then just scale this down, move it up to where we want it for the leg, and then add the mirror modifier. Maybe put this on the top of the stack, it doesn't really matter. And then the origin needs to be on the center for this to mirror, so Control A for apply, then select the location to get down the right place. So then in edit mode, like I can just proportion or move this about where I want it to be here. So maybe like there. And then going to turn off proportional editing for a minute. I can just grab this down here, scale it, because this tapers in a bit. And I can do the same thing, add a few loop cuts here, turn on proportional editing mode, select this loop, and just scale that. The proportional editing mode will ensure that I get a nice curve along here. So, these are kind of thin legs, so it's probably a hotkey for proportional editing mode too, so that would be useful if I knew how to do that. But just kind of position these legs somewhere around how big I want them, just scale them in. And it looks like these tilt forward a bit for the leg shape, so maybe I'd go over here and press R to rotate these forward a bit, and maybe scale these a little with S. So yeah, oh no, I'm sure there's a lot of other techniques for this, but, and like the crotch here could probably be a bit lower too, so just select all of these and move this a bit lower. And, if it turns out you have too many loops here, and like I want to move this all the way down, it's just moving past all those. what I do is I just select this loop, I press delete, and I say dissolve the edge, and that just gets rid of that. So now I can just select all of this and slide it down for there. So yeah, I mean, this obviously needs a lot of work. Like, I'd probably want to make all of this a little bit thinner, while of course making sure that this still fits in here. And you know, I'd probably want some more curvature along this side too, so it isn't just straight up. So then, like, I'd go in here, select this edge, turn on proportional editing, and then press, I don't know, hold down this arrow and scale it, or just scale it with proportional editing mode to get that nice curve on there. And, you know, scale this in a bit because I don't want it too wide in that direction. So that's kind of the workflow I'd use for something like this. And, you know, sometimes I do things a little differently with just making really simple shapes with cubes. But this is a workflow that you can use where you're working a little higher polygon, but you're still getting really good control over what the shapes are like. And, you know, editing a lot of different vertices at once. So, you know, then of course this looks a little weird with this just going straight up like this. So maybe I just pull this arrow, push it in a bit. And yeah, for most of these parts, I just keep going along and adding more hollow cylinders like that. And, you know, just use that method to try to build up the shape of a bunch of hollow shells of armor. So, yeah, and, you know, of course, I'd probably spend a whole lot of hours getting all this looking more like this in here. But I hope that helps out a little and gives you some ideas for how to get started with that.